careful with her, would you? And, pie.
Thanks for saving me from the Chuck Norris marathon with the snack run, Carly.
No problem.
Don't get me wrong. Sharing a motel room with him after a hunt is an awesome way to celebrate. But the man's choice in movies is iffy, even on a good day.
What about mine? Digging into the law was not my idea of downtime after we cleaned out that nest. I'm coming back with nothing even remotely close to natural in it. Besides, you know I'm itching to take the wheel without your Mr. Backseat Driver and his comments. What?
Someone's by the car.
Of course. The one time he parks a mile away from the rooms. Really, Sandra? That's what you're going with for weapons?
Well, Dean never uses them.
Because throwing stars are as good of an idea as those films he makes you sit through.
Oh, put the demon blade away. It's our old partner in crime. Hey, I guess you're wanting to tag along again?
Well, come on in before Sam turns on the puppy dog eyes and makes me cave and bring him a salad, which I'm not going to do. I'm not a kale delivery system.
All right. Well, you know Dean's house rules in Baby. Driver picks the music, shotgun shuts his cake hole, and the ones in the back enjoy the ride, idling in the Impala.
Hope you like meatloaf.
For a snack?
Music, Sandra. Music.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. My name's Sandra.
I'm Carly, and today we are bringing you part 2 of our tops and our bottoms. So a few weeks ago, we did seasons 1 to 5, top and bottom episodes, and this week we're bringing you seasons 6 to 10. So
yeah, we're going to see if there's drama like there was, which I was not expecting.
Might be. That might be. I enjoyed the drama. I enjoyed the drama. But since Sandra did her tops first last time, she's very generously said that I can go first and do mine first. So we'll start like we did last time with our bottom 10s. So if you just give me a second, I'm going to pull up my Google document because
they were prepared and I was like, yes, this is awesome. So we are going to go for it.
I was ready. Okay. So coming in at number 10 on my bottom top 10 of episodes is Do You Believe in Miracles from season 9. It's actually the season 9 finale. And the reason that it's in my bottom 10 is because it's got that fucking awful death scene of Dean's.
Mm-hmm.
That really, really gut-wrenchingly awful death scene that makes me sad. So it's in at number 10. I have to say, I didn't have any trouble picking out like top episodes, but I did have a little bit of trouble picking out bottom episodes because there's not so many bad episodes as bad plot lines in this section of the series, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like in the early seasons, they were finding their feet. So there were a lot of like bad episodes that didn't work or didn't fit, but they're in the groove now. So it's mostly just bad plot lines more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is in the bottom because it tugged on all my heartstrings and I was like, Dean, no, Dean. So that's number 10. Coming in at number 9 is the season 6 episode, My Heart Will Go On, which is the really, really dumb episode where Balthazar stops the Titanic from sinking, and apparently it has rampant effects all the way through to the present day, and it was just a little bit weird and a little bit like it was just strange. I was like, if you're going to call on, you know, like actual historical fiction or like pop culture of the movie, I don't know, it just
didn't
weird.
jive. It just didn't work.
Yeah,
it just didn't work.
And I liked Balthazar as a character, but I just thought that episode was weird. That was just a weird one. So that's number 9. Then season 8 is episode 8. Sorry, is the season 8 episode. We need to talk about Kevin, which is actually the first episode of season 8, and it's in here not because there's anything wrong with the episode or anything like that. It's got that fucking dumb Amelia plot line, and I don't know if y'all have been listening. I don't fucking like her. I don't like her. I don't like the dog. All right, it's not the dog's fault, but I don't like her.
The
I don't like the dog. And the whole thing was fucking dumb. I hated it. I like don't like any person Sam has slept with apart from Madison. So fuck you, Amelia. Just go away. And then she's like, "Oh no, I thought my husband was dead, but he's not. Could you just go?" Like, fuck you, woman. No, I don't like Amelia. That's why she's in here. Number 8, season 8. We need to talk about Kevin. Coming in number 7. It's the season 9 episode #Thin Man, which is because it's a Ghost Faces episode, and I fucking hate them. I don't like them. I think their episodes are dumb. I can see what the guy, like the producers were going for, but it doesn't work for me. I really just want to punch both of them in the face. Ghost Faces, don't like. So that's where that is. Coming in number 6, it's the season 9 again episode Bloodlines. Now, I know Bloodlines was technically a pilot for a spin-off show, but there's a reason it didn't get made, y'all. There's a reason it didn't get made, and that's because it was kind of pants. Good premise. Like, I wouldn't have minded a premise, but like, I don't mind the premise. I think there's mileage in that. Certainly more than there is in a prequel. Sorry, Jensen, if you're listening. But which, of course, he is. Like, he's a rabid fan. But we're
having him on in a couple weeks. I forgot to tell.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it. He'll be on in a couple of weeks. He won't. Please don't come back thinking that we're actually going to get Jensen on, as cool as that would be. But no, it was just the premise had like potential, but the actual episode itself was like strange and weird and a bit of a letdown. And
you know what I felt they were going with, and I mean, I don't know if you watched a lot of CW, so I felt like they were trying to do something like along the lines of the originals, the vampire family. Like,
oh yeah, I know of it. Yeah.
Down in New Orleans and stuff. I feel like they were trying to get that whole like mafia kind of vibe, like pitting. I think in the originals it's vampires versus like I think werewolves or like the big like thing, and I guess it's something similar. Are they? I can't even remember. Are they like is one of the families shifters, or are they actually werewolves? Like, I can't remember. The teeth just always throw me off. Whenever I see the teeth, I'm like, is that a werewolf? Is that a vampire? What are they doing? I'm so confused.
Yeah. Generic monster teeth. Yeah. It was like I said. It's not a bad premise. It's really not. But it went sort of contrary to the show. Like if the monsters the brothers hunt were organized, it would have come up before then. Like it's season 9. We're well into this by now. If there was any kind of organization, we would have known about it by now. So it was just like kind of out of left field. It was weird.
I don't feel the execution was great with that at all. Yeah.
No, not a fan. Coming in at number 5, middle of the pack, is the season 8 episode Bitten, which was the found footage episode of the 3 college friends, one of whom gets bitten by a werewolf, and then it all goes to fuck from there. And I wasn't really a massive fan of the episode premise, but found footage things make me feel sick. I don't like the camera motion. Okay. So it was always going to be in the bottom just purely by virtue of that for me. Even if it was a great episode, I still would have been like, oh no, I hate it. Okay. But it was I just didn't like it, like I'm not tuning into Supernatural to watch 3 idiots fuck about, like I want to watch Sam and Dean fuck about. So it just I didn't sit right with me. I did really, really like the fact that they called back later down the line with the girl that they didn't let her get away, but they kind of didn't bother to chase her, did they?
No, that was the one thing where they let her go to kind of see what if she'd be able to, I guess, do the right thing.
Yeah. And I like quite like the callback to that later down the line, but that episode for me, I feel nauseous thinking about the camera motion now. So no. And then number 4, another season 8 one. Okay, look, the hair on season 8 was amazing. The plot lines, not so much. Not so much. Sorry, guys. They put all the production value into Jared's hair, and there was nothing left over for the writers, unfortunately. But number 4 is the season 8 episode, Man's Best Friend with Benefits. Now, this has been brought up multiple times by fans. It's been discussed to death in podcasts, YouTube videos, everything else. So I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring. The black lady being the dog was weird. It was weird and it made me uncomfortable. And I don't want to say that it was outright racist, but it was weird and like an odd choice to make. You know, and we all love Supernatural, but you have to hold your hands up and admit it's got some issues when it comes to like diversity and representation. And that was just a bit too weird for me. I didn't like it. And then also, like, if we take outside the acting or the actor choice, rather, the whole she's a dog, but then they're in a relationship and sometimes she's his girlfriend and sometimes she's his dog. It was fucking weird. Like all the way across, it was weird. Did not enjoy. And that was the scene. Sam lets her in the motel room and then Dean comes back and she's a lady. And I do not enjoy. So I think, do not recommend. I think my number 3 is going to be quite controversial with Sandra, but we'll see. So my number 3 bottom episode of these seasons is season 10 episode Fan Fiction, the singing one. I don't know. I just didn't. It was cringy to me. It was really, really cringy. I just couldn't. I had secondhand embarrassment like all the way through that episode. I really didn't like it.
Okay.
I did not enjoy it all. And then there was like the like weird Wincesty undertones. And I'll be the first one to hold my hands up and be like, if you squint at that show, there's Wincest. Like, it's fucking there. It's there a hell of a lot more than Destiel is. Like, but I don't know. Like, they were so overt with it, and I was like, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe Jared and Jensen were uncomfortable with it as well. Like, that's the kind of vibe I get. Maybe I'm completely projecting, but I just didn't like it. It didn't sit with me at all. Completely did not sit with me. So number 2, and I mean, I'll be curious to know. Carly. I'm curious to know if Sandra can take a guess at what my number 1 worst episode is.
Are you at number 1 already?
No, I'm at number 2. Okay, but I just want to know.
Okay.
I'm going to be asking you what you think it is. But number 2,
it's probably whatever I.
Number 2 is the season 10 episode Dark Dynasty. It's towards the end of season 10. It's the one where Charlie dies, and it's a completely fucking pointless death. It plays into the accusation Supernatural gets a lot of being a bury or gaze show, and it was just completely uncalled for, unnecessary. There was no need for that. Charlie was a really good character. She wasn't a romantic threat to the boys in any way, because I know at the time of the show airing, a lot of fans had problems with the boys having any sort of romantic interests at all. That's why they never stuck around or anything. But she was absolutely not a threat to the boys in a romantic way. And it just felt pointless and needless, you know? And then, of course, it's another diversity kill in a show that already has too many. So, didn't like it. And
well, also, somebody else doesn't like it either.
Charlie was the fucking bestest. So fight me on that. She was freaking great.
Yeah.
So that's number 2. So Sandra, any ideas?
I don't know, if we're talking about like character death and stuff like that. I'm going to say you probably picked Death's Door, but that could just be me.
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. My number 1 bottom. It's
going to be something obvious. Oh my god! Really if it's the French mistake, I'm. Is it the French mistake?
No, it's not. It's not. Before I reveal the episode, I want it noted. This episode wins my just now invented worst episode of the entire show. Oh, wow. Not just season 6 to 10. The entire show. It is the worst episode. It should never have been made.
Oh God, if it's one of my top, I'm going to be so upset.
If this is in your top, we might have to stop being friends, Sandra. It's the season 7 episode, Time for a Wedding.
Oh, no, I don't have that. No.
Fuck for that.
Okay.
Right.
I should have figured that out. Yes, Becky.
You really should have.
I should have figured that out. I think once you hit me with Charlie and the death, I was like, maybe this is where she's going with it. Okay. This is where they're going with it. Oh, I got to get my pronouns.
Nope.
Smack me.
Nope. I'm gonna start like poking you or something. No, this is okay. So there was the Becky episode. I can't remember if it was a Becky episode that came number one in my. No, it wasn't. It was Bugs that came number one in the first countdown. But the Becky episode.
No, it wasn't.
The real
Carly,
Ghostbusters.
Carly, the one that you picked, because your bottom was my top, was Mystery Spot. You picked Mystery Spot as the worst.
I know. I had a Becky episode in my last.
I think you had the real
10,
Ghostbusters in there, maybe.
and it's the real Ghostbusters. And every time I rewatch Supernatural, I say, if that had been gender reversed, if Sam and Dean had been female and that had been a male that had put their hands on a female like that, and then when asked to stop said no, the show would have been fucking cancelled. Like it just would not have flown, even in like sort of like 2005 to 2010, even in those eras before all of the stuff that's happened to us recently, it wouldn't have flown. The show would have been cancelled. And exactly the same thing stands for It's Time for a Wedding. She fucking strips him and ties him to a bed, people. That's not okay. And I shouldn't have to be sitting here going, if it was gender flipped, the show would have been cancelled. It shouldn't have fucking happened anyway. You don't, the boys get sexually assaulted a lot in this TV show, and everyone brushes it off because, they're really big guys and like, it's fine. It's not fucking fine. It's not fine. She drugs him and kidnaps him and ties him to a fucking bed. And like, you have to assume she's touched him inappropriately because he asks her where his trousers are. It's fucking, it's disgusting. It makes me feel sick. And I will give the sort of Dean reaction of, isn't she supposed to ask my permission with the whole Vegas thing? It's kind of funny. Like, Dean's reaction is kind of funny, but like the fact that nobody in the show, in the episode or afterwards mentions like, hey, don't remember that time that girl fucking kidnapped and almost raped somebody? It just never comes up again. It's abhorrent. I hate it. I hate it. Becky comes back in season. She comes back in season 15 and they try to redeem her. And I'm like, you can't fucking redeem her. Like, oh no, Chuck clicked her out of existence. Fucking life's sad. You're a despicable human being. Oh, you're married and you have children. No. You're a fucking sexual assaulter. And it's fucking disgusting. Yeah. And it's number one in the bottom for this section of the show, but it wins my award for being the worst episode in the whole show completely.
Wow.
It's Time for a Wedding.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Becky. Yeah. And you know what? I'm sure the actress is bloody lovely, but fuck you, Becky. Your character, fuck you. No.
So I have to be honest. The only reason I didn't put this in my bottom was because there's two saving graces in that episode. One, we get Garth for the first time, and I liked the introduction of Garth in that episode. Yeah. And it's based in Delaware. So for that reason, I couldn't put it, because for me, it's like whenever there's a shout out of Delaware, it warms my heart. And the fact that, unfortunately, Becky was living in Delaware, but still the fact that they went to Delaware was like one of the things. But I agree with everything that you said. I think there's only a mention. I think the times that they do mention it, they kind of mention it as an almost like, oh, well, Sam, that's your girl or whatever over there that they're calling up. Or I think like Charlie might have made like a comment about she found some books or series or whatever like released, and it was under like the name Becky Winchester or something 76. Wow. And the look on Sam's face is like, the boy went through assault, and it's like, and there's no. It's weird how they don't come back to certain things that you think they might want to address, at some point that would have an impact, and it's just like a one and done, where I'm like, you could probably have talked about that in detail a little bit, because that was a season 2 where, I mean, Sam was still dealing with trying to get over Lucifer, and losing his soul, and like, Lucifer kind of like projecting, like all that weird stuff that was going on. Like that's a whole thing. But again, I'm just saying why it's not in my bottom. Those are the only two reasons.
No, that's fine. I'll forgive you because state representation. It's a thing. It's a thing, and I'll forgive you. I'll forgive you for that. But I will just draw attention to another big episode, which unfortunately doesn't get the sort of the criticism it should get, because there's some really funny moments in the episode, but it's the season 2 episode with Bella and the ghost ship. And obviously it's got that really great "somebody stole my car" moment in it, which is fucking great. But if you think about it, they set Sam up with that lady to get into the party, and he is again sexually assaulted, and nobody are like, "Ah, it's really funny. Haha, Sam, go back and be sexually assaulted again." It's fucking gross.
Yeah.
And you know, there's the whole "don't objectify me" line in there. Like, you know, all right, like Bella doesn't touch Dean inappropriately or anything, but there's still like, she still has the power over him in that scenario. And so it's, you know, and it doesn't get any criticism that I really feel like it deserves, because it's, you know, it's got some funny moments. Oh, we should have angry sex after this, blah, 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 blah. But I'm just,
So how do you think, so, I mean, like, because now I'm doing some self-reflecting, you know, on how we, like, when we do our objectification, do you think our objectification is done in a way where we know where the line is, that we would never say objectify, you know, like in person, or do you know what I'm trying to get at? Like, 'cause I mean, like,
yeah,
I know that we hit on a lot of things about like the boys that we like, that's physical, and you know, we talk about those, I think, in detail, some to a large extent. Is it kind of hypocritical to say that, you know, well, but we don't do that, you know, we wouldn't do that to the person or to the, I mean, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So from my perspective, I'll hold my hands up. I objectify the shit out of Jared and Jensen, because do you have eyeballs? They're very attractive people.
Yeah,
they are.
Agree.
But if were I ever to meet them, and Sandra speaking as someone who has met them, I'm sure that wasn't even in your mind at the time.
There was nothing in my mind.
There was nothing in her mind. She was a puddle. But like, certainly I would equally be sort of a stammering fucking idiot, but I would do my level best to treat them with respect as another human being, not as an object or a piece of meat. You know, I used to justify this by saying, we keep our objectification private, but this is on the internet. So, but then I would argue it's probably still private, because I very, very much doubt anybody from Supernatural is ever going to come and listen to this, as much as we might want them to. And if they do, I kind of feel like as much as we talk about their bodies, we talk about them as people as well. You know, like, I'll talk about Sam's abs all day long and twice on a Sunday, but I'm also going to talk to you about like the fundraising stuff Jared does, or, you know, Jared's most recent whatever he's done, or the good things I've heard on social media about this. I'll come to Jensen's defense for you know, anything that might have happened. I would kind of view it as seeing the whole person. Yes, they're very attractive people, but they're much more than that. And I feel like we draw attention to both sides of that. You know, like if either of the boys posted a fundraiser today, or their wives even today, you better believe we'd be on this podcast, you know, supporting it, bringing attention to it. We don't treat them like that's all they're there for. So I don't know. Maybe you feel that we are hypocritical about that.
No, I was just,
let us know.
I was just thinking about, you know, like somebody else listening and like maybe what their initial thoughts are. Sometimes I like to play devil's advocate. I feel that we know the balance, right? And again, like, we would never do anything to, even like with Sam and Dean, the characters. I mean, I think there's plenty of instances where Dean is very much the womanizer, and very much, you know, he's had a lot to learn and a lot to grow in, you know, and I can't say he probably does that 100% of the time he's gotten it right, you know, but I think he's learned, right, as a character, a little bit here and there, how to approach women, maybe say as people. And I think he learns that a lot from characters that, you know, he's not romantic or, you know, attracted to, you know, he finds that, they're Charlie's a good example of that, you know, and I think he learns by those relationships. And I just know that, you know, as a human being, I want to treat someone with respect. Yes, I can find them extremely attractive, and yes, I can not be able to communicate, but I also know that at the end of the day, like, I don't want you to feel, even though that's what you're there for to some extent, like at a convention. I mean, people are there to see you, to meet you, to be close to you. So it's like it's almost, you're building that facade, but then how desensitized, do they become? And even like to the extent of the characters, Sam and Dean are told a lot by guys, well, you walk around like that all day, you've got it easy, like, so that kind of, I guess, if you're pretty, it's easy, but then you have to deal with all of the ramifications of that, of being objectified. And I think that they have to deal with that a lot as characters and as actors. So no, but I mean, I think that honestly, I think all of our like fawning and all of that, it comes from a good place at the end. Cause like you said, it's about the characters too. I mean, it's just interesting. It's an interesting take, on it. And I think people have different reactions to it.
It absolutely is. And of course, listeners out there, if you feel, any kind of way, you agree with us, you disagree with us, you've got your own spin on it, get in touch and let us know, because it's not a clear-cut thing. I know for me, when I think about like, see, it's difficult because obviously Sam has Jared's body, but Sam is the one that my attraction is focused on. And it's a mixture of his personality and his physical appearance. So Jared provides the physical appearance, but the boys themselves will tell you Sam and Dean are characters in their own right. It's over the years, it's progressed from playing a character to that character. It has a life of its own. It's almost a separate entity, even to them as the actors. So Sam lends his physical appearance, which is, fucking beautiful. I hate you a little bit, Sam. Jared, a little bit. But I don't feel the same way about Jared as I do about Sam, because I know Jared is a married man with a family, and he's got wonderful good looks, but there's a hell of a lot more to him. Whereas Sam's just a fictional character. He doesn't have the same kind of nuance as a living, breathing human.
Right.
And I feel like that kind of offsets it a little bit, because it's distinctly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the character can be tailored to whatever you really want and need or experience or feel, or, I mean, there's a lot of that too. Like, so there's growth, but then there's also, what are you projecting onto the character too? So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. So
Sandra, I get to talk my bottom 10. Okay.
You do.
I will say, let's see, I was taking notes. I think 1, 2, like 5 of ours are the same. I can't stop.
Oh, cool. She can't stop. She needs a notepad in her life, guys. She can't stop. So
I will say, I think some of my choices are more because they're monster of the weeky. So, but a lot of them fall in line. We'll talk about some of like the decisions and stuff I think that were made. For plot. So number 10 for me is from season 6, and it's Mannequin 3: The Reckoning. And it's basically the monster of the week, where there's the dead sister. She's tethered to her living sister because she donated a kidney, and she takes over like the inanimate, like the dolls, different scenarios of like that kind of stuff. I just didn't. There was nothing to that episode. I mean, it's a cute episode. There's some funny bits, but and again, like the way they handled the situation of, a bunch of guys teasing, like a dowdy, like a quiet girl, and then they kind of like pretend that she's got a secret admirer, and then in the end, they accidentally kill her when they are pulling this prank. I just didn't really like it. It just wasn't my thing. Yeah. And then plus she inhabits Baby, and Baby's like chasing Dean, and that's just a whole thing that doesn't need to happen. And he has to apologize when he's got to have Baby go through a window just to get it to stop. So it did not like that one. Then number 9 is Out with the Old, and that's from season 7. And again, like old antiques are possessed, and I think they turn the new owners kind of psycho. And it's just like another episode for me. Number 8 is from season 7. It's The Girl Next Door. And this is actually an episode that Jensen directed, and nothing against the directing of it. I've noticed though a couple like I think sometimes he just gets crappy episodes to direct. Like the scripts just aren't that great. There's 2 that are really awesome that I think they just everything went together. But it's
one of them has to be Weekend at Bobby's, right?
Yeah, one of them does have to be that.
That's good.
But
I love that episode.
I hate that they had Dean kill Sam's friend, who was the monster, Amy, at the end of it. And there was also that whole thing about the son walking in on it. I don't know. I felt like at that point Dean had grown more, just a little bit. And I felt he didn't see all monsters as black and white. I mean, and I was trying to go back and like find an instance of it. And like in season 6, he's got the whole baby shapeshifter that he was like willing to make sure that kid, was safe and in a good place. And I'm like, but then in this instance, you're not seeing why she's doing what she's doing. You're just very much, no, monster, done. And then that became a whole thing that they carried into the season. And, it's a secret. Again, we get back into those secrets that the boys keep that built this rift between them. And I just didn't like it. It just wasn't the thing. I just didn't like that episode. Number 7 is from season 9, and it's #Thin Man. And so it's the same number. Now, I will say, I usually like the Ghost Facers. So I know we are completely opposed to that, but I do usually like them. I feel that they, in a lot of instances where they're popped in, it's needed sort of levity and stupidity that I think kind of breaks up what's going on, maybe like in the season. So I do like them usually, but I was just bummed that they were making their dynamic and their relationship very manipulative and dependent. And I was like, yeah, okay, we get it. Parallels,
Yeah, but
I already feel bad that Sam and Dean are at a really low point in their relationship, and now you're hammering it home with this very obvious, reflection of what's going on. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it at all. But yeah, I mean, really most of the other episodes that they've been in, I usually like it, or when they just like drop them in. I think they dropped them into like It's a Terrible Life, where they were like watching Ghost Facers videos like on how to deal with like ghosts and things. So I kind of like, that's the little things I liked about them. But anyway, number 6 for me is Let It Bleed, and that's from season 6. That's where Dean is mind wiped, where Lisa and Ben are just, he mind wipes Lisa and Ben. He asks Cass to do that. To keep them safe. And I just found that to be such an easy and lazy way out. And you really don't make mention of those 2 characters. I guess, you don't make any real mention of them with any significance. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Time for a Wedding, like what happened with Sam, by Becky. It's just like, he spent a year with them. There's relationship that was built. And, I know he said, don't ever talk about them again. And again, that's just an easy way of just taking them out of the plot as a hanging thread thing. But, he spent a year with Benny, and we had Benny for,
he came back. Yeah.
A good portion of, of a season too. So I don't know. I didn't like
lazy.
that.
It's lazy story writing. Completely. Just, we don't know what to do with these now. Dean's going to go back hunting with his brother. So we'll mind wipe them, whatever, which is, it's just lazy. There could have been, I don't know necessarily that there could have been a better way to handle that, because they were, of course, at risk. They knew about the world. So they were, of course, at risk. But like so many things in Supernatural, a conversation needed to be had.
Yeah. And plus, or like ask them if that's what they want. You know what I mean? Like, don't make that decision. You know what I mean, for them. Because I mean, I know that they've talked about, like Lisa would say, like, I don't know how to get over you. Just when I think I'm getting over you, then something happens and, you get brought back in. So maybe have a talk. Like, this is what I could do. Like, this is what we could have happen. And again, there's so many reasons why that just in and of itself wouldn't work. Because, okay, you're wiping Dean from Lisa and Ben, but what about everyone else that's had interactions with Dean through Lisa and Ben? Like, you're going to put those two characters through a, what are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Like, they're like, was he wiped from everybody who was indirect? Like, there's so many questions about that. Like, it's too easy and lazy. And I get it's a superpower and it's something Cass could do, but I don't know. I feel like they use that a lot. I feel like they might use that a lot in the Winchesters prequel. I'm just having that feeling because that's something that was done a lot to the characters, just by canon, finding out that, Mary and John's memories were wiped when the boys did go back. Are they going to do that again? And it's like, we already know that happened. How many times is that going to happen? So it's just, I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. Number 5 is from season 10 and it's Dark Dynasty. I basically just wrote, you killed Charlie to give Dean motivation and tip him over completely to the dark side. Really? Couldn't have come up with something else. Sorry, AU Charlie could never make up for that. And I also hate that they brought back some characters that we loved in AU form, and it's just not the same.
Yeah, I did not enjoy that.
So I didn't like that at all. Again, I think in and of itself, not really necessarily a bad episode, but that they had to do that. And then the way that they did it, and I don't know, she was learning to be a hunter, and I feel like she was a good hunter. And then you just put her in this, and I just didn't like it. Just
another female pawn.
Yeah.
To fuck around with the boys, but I'm just like, I don't like that you do that anyway, but you'd given this character such a great like storyline and character arc and everything, and you just maliciously and lazily again killed her off to give the boys motivation. They had plenty of fucking motivation. You don't stop that many apocalypses without motivation, people.
I don't think that's the one thing that Dean needed to flip the switch. He was already on with the Mark Kane and all that stuff. I just I don't know. So number 4 is from season 8 and it's Man's Best Friend with Benefits. Again, so many weird innuendos, uncomfortable things going on with the witches and the familiars in that episode. It was just icky. And again, like, it's one of those situations where you laugh at it, but they make Dean out to act so dumb sometimes, like and I get that sometimes he can be like a little out of touch, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't like it when they make him so dumb. And I felt like he was kind of like acting very, not even dumb, acting very adolescent about the whole thing. And I don't know. It's a lot of feelings about that. I'll watch it again and just my husband and I are like, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
So yeah. Number 3 is from season 10. It's Paper Moon, which is actually the werewolf chick coming back episode.
Oh, right.
I just didn't like anything about that coming back. I just wasn't interested, really. It was weird because they put that right after Dean. They had like gotten Demon Dean resolved, and then they had that, and I was just like, I just didn't like it. Number 2 is from season 8, and it's Bitten.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like it when the boys are B plot line, and like you, I don't really like the shaky cam documentary style. I don't like the play me video. That just those kind of things have been done a lot, and I realized they were playing off of that, and they were creating, and I think it was okay, it was an experiment. I just didn't particularly like it. The only funny thing about it is like, when Dean's like, do I really say awesome that much? He's like, yes, you do. And he's like, okay. Yes. He still does it, which I love. He's still going to say awesome, but that's the only thing I really like about that. And I mean, I don't know. Do you want to guess what my worst one is? It's one of yours.
It's one of mine. Is it fan fiction?
No, it's Bloodlines. It's below the line.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. And again, a lot of the same thing, like just it was a backdoor pilot. I felt like it just, there's not enough of the boys. And I felt that it could have been a good idea, but I really don't think that it wasn't executed well. I just didn't like it. It was, and that's one episode I could literally take out and never watch again, and I'd be fine with probably Bitten too, really. Like those two, I could just like, if I never saw them again, I'd be perfectly happy with it. Probably most of these actually. Like if I never saw these episodes again, I would not be sad. I guess that's maybe that's how I looked at it too. It's like, what are they doing? Yeah.
That's fair enough. So, it's so interesting. I think we had a lot of overlap on the last bottom 10 as well. But then we tend to go vastly different directions in our top 10.
Yes. So this will be interesting.
Okay, so this is the part of most podcasts where they go, and our podcast today is sponsored by blah, 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 blah. We're not sponsored. We do this purely for the love of the game. But what we do want to do is there's some causes that we want to highlight, places that we want to signpost people to on issues that mean a lot to us. So one of the first things that we want to highlight is the ongoing, you could call it a conflict. I think it's more accurate to say the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. It's ongoing. It's fallen out of media spotlight now, but, there are thousands of people still stuck in places in the Ukraine, lots and lots of people still affected. So there's 3 different charities we want to bring attention to for this one. The first one is World Central Kitchen, which is exactly as it sounds, charity that helps feed people all around the world. They're focusing a lot of their attention on the Ukraine right now because, as you know, with war, with conflict comes supply disruption. People are struggling for food, people are struggling for water, all things like that. So that's what World Central Kitchen is doing. They're there, they're on the ground, they're helping to feed people who are trapped in the Ukraine at the moment. The second cause we want to highlight for this one is Kids Save, which is, again, a charity that is, international, but they're also focusing a lot of attention on the Ukraine. They're trying to evacuate civilians, they're trying to help children and families, rescue them, get them out of conflict zones, get them out of danger, get them to other European countries that are safer to be in. So that's the second charity we want to highlight. And the third one that we want to highlight for exclusively for the Ukraine is Global Giving's Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund, which is a sort of more like a fundraiser rather than a charity like the other two, sort of like a Just Giving or a GoFundMe, but on a global scale. And again, that money's being divided up into where it's needed the most in the Ukraine, whatever areas are needing the most, they're just trying to pull money, pull resources to help the families, the people that are trapped, isolated, and massively affected by this invasion. Again, as we've seen in recent weeks, it's fallen out of the media. It's not making the top headlines anymore, but that doesn't mean it's not still really important. It doesn't mean that there aren't still people dying daily, hugely affected by this invasion that would really benefit if you can help these charities. Your money's going to a good cause. So links for those will be in the descriptions.
And then on my end, just because the focus being more in the US and how crazy things are here in general over the past, I know it seems like forever, but things are really taking a turn for the worse, and it's just very apparent. So in my mind, my viewpoint for those in the US, educate yourself, find ways to take action. 2 of the main charities, organizations focus on ending gun violence and advocating for gun regulations in your state, whichever state you live in. Learn more about what's happening and how you can help end this tragedy that just becomes so numbing to the country that I live in. So For one, it's Moms Demand Action, and another is Sandy Hook Promise. And then in terms of educating, just learning how to support basic human rights. I just picked American Civil Liberties Union because it really covers the gamut: women's rights, LGBTQ, anything you need to learn about, make yourself knowledgeable, understand what's happening, take action, and the way you can take action through voting. So go to Vote.Gov, learn the system, learn what you need to do if you're not already registered to vote, and make sure your voice is heard that way.
Yep. So that would be those ones. And then the final sort of cause that we were wanting to highlight right now, and believe you me, guys, we've gone over and over this. We genuinely, neither of us know where to put our voices, where they're going to be the loudest, the most effective. But this one for me personally, being a member of the LGBTQ community, identifying as a queer person, it's scary right now. It is. It feels like, you know, we're really on the brink of something that's going to be horrifically damaging to our community. And I don't want to focus on the bigger movements, the bigger charities that are, you know, maybe dealing with things from a legal standpoint and fighting for our rights that way. I want to bring it down to the individual people that are being affected. So I have two charities to promote for this one. I have one based in the UK, which is Switchboard LGBT, and one based in the US, which is the Trevor Project. My apologies. They're both very similar in nature, that they are sort of crisis helplines for LGBTQ plus people who feel that they need to speak with somebody, who need that, you know, sort of immediate help and assistance. So they're both that kind of thing. You can talk to people over the phone, you can web chat with people, you know, they're safe spaces for anything that you might need help with if you are LGBTQ plus and you find yourself struggling. I did look extensively. There doesn't seem to be one single charity, one single organization that's doing something internationally. I can only assume this is because the challenges faced by the community vary massively from country to country. But the Trevor Project does have some resources for international LGBTQ plus youth. So I'll be including a link directly to that as well. Again, there's not any one place you can go from anywhere in the world, but it's certainly a start if you are outside of the UK and the US and you need help. You know, it really does feel like everybody's against us at the moment, and the only thing we can do is band together and protect each other. If you need help, please reach out to one of these charities. They will be there. They will support you.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first with this one?
I don't mind. Since I went first last time, shall I carry on and then we'll do you?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'll do my top 9 and then I'll do my honorable mentions and then I'll do dun 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 dun. Okay. So my top 10, and I will say this was hard. I had a lot of episodes that I had to try and pin down, which is why I've come prepared with honorable mentions this time. So my number 10 is the season 9 episode Devil May Care. Sure Sandra probably knows why that is. But
that was one of my honorable mentions.
Fucking great scene with Abaddon and Dean where he's on his knees and she's got a hand in his hair. If you've read anything that I've ever written Dean based, you'll realize this is a big thing for me. I mean, anything I've ever written really. I don't want to say I'm a hair king, but like I fucking do. So, and it's, oh man, it's so good. And are you gonna kill me or are we gonna make out and get mixed signals? Like it's a great episode. It's a good episode. He looks
so good, and I don't know what
good in it as well.
Again, we're objectifying, but he looks so good in that episode. But
you're not gonna nobody's gonna walk up to Jensen and be like, "Hey, BT Dubs, that fucking episode, you look fine." You know, like we're privately objectifying. He's never gonna hear this. It's fine.
The freckles. It's the sun-kissed look. It's the oh my gosh,
right.
yes.
Great. So my number 9 is the season 6 episode 2.5 Men.
Okay,
because it's funny. It's funny. It's soulless Sam and Dean trying to be a dad to this changing baby, and it's got that fucking scene in the supermarket. And Dean hums like Smoke on the Water to get the baby to sleep. It's just a nice episode, guys. It's just a good episode. I like that one. I like that one. It's just like, just for a brief minute, you can see like what Jared and Jensen are like probably like with their own kids, and it's cute. I like it. Like specifically Jensen, because I think Sam's a little bit like, oh no.
Yeah.
You know? So number 8 is the season 9 episode, Dog Day in Afternoon. It's funny.
That was one of my honorable mentions. Yeah.
It's funny. Him hanging his head out the window of the Impala while Sam drives. It's funny. It's all of it's funny. It's just funny. It's just, I don't have any other reason for that. It's funny. I liked it. I like it. That's the way it has the German Shepherd that he can talk to as well, doesn't it? Yeah,
there's so many good scenes in that. It's just
cute.
Classic. It's classic. Like,
he argues with the pigeon.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a funny episode. So number 7, coming in at number 7, the season 10 episode. It's the season 10 premiere, Black.
Okay.
Demon fucking Dean. Demon Dean. He's got that really cute haircut. And like, can we just props to Jensen for the acting ability to sing that badly when he's got the voice of a freaking angel, I swear to God.
Yeah.
And he does it again later down with Chrissy and Kane in the dive bar. And he like fakes that he can't sing. And I'm like, my dude, you can though. But it's got that scene of him like fucking the waitress, and then he rolls over and he's like pulling the sheets out from under him, and he's all like tan and the sheets are white. It's just good. It's just good, guys. It's just good. It's just a good episode. It's just a good episode.
Oh my.
And then completely on the other end of the spectrum there is number 6, the season 10 episode Brother's Keeper, which is the finale of season 10.
Okay.
And I think it's the emotional connection between the boys at the end of this, you know, where he's gonna like kill Sam, and then he doesn't, and Sam pulls the pictures out, and it's a really moving episode, and it's a Death episode, and I really, really love the original actor who played Death. I didn't mind Lisa Barry, but Julian Richards.
I think it's Richings. Yeah, he's great. I really like him.
He was made for that role, and I was kind of disappointed they killed him off. But it's, you know, the whole sort of it's very Winchester style, isn't it? To be like, I'm going to be a big drama queen and kill myself. You know, it kind of apes Sam's like, I'm going to let Lucifer possess me and then throw him in the pit kind of sacrifice.
Yeah, it does have a lot of parallels to like Swan Song a little bit. Yeah, now that you mention it. Yeah.
But that's sort of the connection of them two at the end, you know, where it's another in a long line of we'll do it together, but that one's just nice. Yeah. I like that one. Yeah. I like that one. So season 9, number 5 even, is the season 9 episode Rock in a Hard Place.
Now, can I tell you, for particular reasons, I made these honorable mentions, but I was like, I'm not going to do this just because there's incredible. So I made a point of not doing this. So I'm so glad that you're doing this, because
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's that scene when they're in the fucking like chastity group, purity group, whatever it is, and he's describing sex, and it's just cutting to the different women in the group. It's fucking great. There's the porn star thing, which I get secondhand cringe from that, but it's funny.
Oh my God, it's funny, but it's so like, I could watch that on a loop. I literally could watch that scene on a loop when he goes, I am, aren't I? I'm just like, oh my God. Like the change in his face. I tell Ted this and he just rolls his eyes. I'm like, look at how many different reactions are going on Dean's mind right now. And he's flipping it in a matter of seconds. And it's so, God, it's cringy, but it's so hot.
It is. And I don't know if Supernatural should get credit for this. I suppose they get the credit for being the initial inspiration. But our friend Dee, who we are still trying to wrangle on the podcast, she lives at the other side of the world, guys. Her times are so wildly different to ours. So we keep trying to get her, and she's like, I'm busy. But she, her rookie series, she kind of does like almost it's not a rewrite of season 9, but one of her sort of works within the bigger rookie series takes place in season 9, and she's got this absolutely fabulous way of writing where you think the scenes she writes could have occurred and they just didn't make the cut, or something's happening and it's just off camera. The female lead, the reader character she puts in, you can imagine she's in all of those canon scenes, she's just off camera. And she does a rewrite of the porn star scene from this episode, and it is, honest to God, one of the hottest things that's ever been put on paper. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah, it is.
We are going to get her on the podcast, and we are going to pick her brains about her rookie series, but we're going to plug it again. It's Dandelion. Is it Dandelion Dreams or Dandelion Dreaming?
Dandelion Dreaming.
I'm such a good friend, guys. Such a good friend. Dandelion Dreaming. We just call it D, yeah. Dandelion Dreaming. I think it's Dandelion Dreams 1 on Twitter. We'll bob the links in the description, people. We'll bob the links in the description. Go read her rookie series because it's fucking awesome. It's so good. But I don't know, Supernatural should get credit for her amazing rewrite of this scene, but it's a reason why it's in there at number 5 for me. So this one I think you will be quite shocked by, Sandra. But my number 4 is the season 7 episode Death's Door. And I was shocked. I was shocked when I put it in there because it fucking crushed me. It's such an awful, awful episode emotionally. For anyone who doesn't remember, isn't familiar with the episode titles, this is the season 7 episode where Bobby dies. And I think it's in there because I love the scene of him going back through his memories and almost making them right. Like he goes back and he stands up to his dad and he's got that great speech about having 2 boys who grew up and saved the world. And he like has an honest conversation with his wife and things like that. And it's intercut with obviously the boys in the hospital being very tense, and it's very real, and you really feel the emotion that, you know, they don't. Well, Dean doesn't think Bobby's going to die, but I think Sam's maybe slightly more resigned. But it's really authentic in a way that sometimes the show misses the mark, but it didn't on this one. And then that bit right at the end, you know, he wakes up, he gives them those numbers, and that really fond moment between them. And the show could have over-egged that pudding and had it be like, you know, some sappy sentiment, but that just that one line, just calling them midgets that one last time is just it's good, guys. It's a really fucking hard episode, but I think it really works in what it sets out to do. So it's ranked high, and I was really surprised when I was ranking these, but I was like, no, it's got to go up there because I cared when Bobby died. I didn't give a fuck when John died. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. Anyway, y'all seen that Loki that Loki meme? Yes, very sad. Anyway. That was it. So my number 3 is the season 6 episode, Clap Your Hands If You Believe. Now, I said this to Sandra yesterday when I was making this list. I could have made a whole fucking list of season 6 episodes. It could have been all season 6. Soul of Sam is like my favorite Sam. Outside of like regular Sam. He's my favorite Sam. And this one, in the caravan with the teeny tiny teacup and the glitter to the glue you're sniffing, and the whole like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And am I right in thinking that's the same episode where Dean gets abducted?
Oh yeah. Because then he's with the patchouli. Sam's with the patchouli chick. Yeah, and he's
he's fucking the other chick. And also, like, we're gonna go back to objectifying, of course, but because we always do. That's what we're here for. But like, that scene's kind of hot. Like, you know, just as a snapshot, you're like, yeah, maybe. Just in the diner with the whole, well, what if you would do if you had a soul? Your soul wouldn't let you. You'd sit and be sad. It's a great fucking episode. Soulless Sam is a delight. It really is. So that's number 3. Number 2 is the season 7 episode Lap and the Real Girl.
Okay,
it's a good episode. It's 49% number 2 because of the scene at the end with Sam's little ponytail giant little ponytail. I love that. It's so cute. It's the cutest fucking thing. I love that. But I love like the plot line and the whole like it's not heavy-handed with Charlie's sexuality, but it doesn't shy away from it either. And I think that's nice. They're just like, hey, the boys like fucking women, and so does Charlie. You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't hammer any sort of like gay agenda in massive quotation marks. But it's just there and it's just natural and I like it. And then Dean's wearing the wig at the end and they've got this the speech from Braveheart. And that's a really, really good episode. I really like that. And I think it's kind of fun as well. You know, like you sense that the boys are having fun in that episode. And I like that.
Yeah.
So before we do my number one episode, which I'm 100% sure Sandra can guess this one. I've got my
I can't anymore.
I've got 4 honorable mentions. So my first honorable mention is Defending Your Life. I didn't put seasons on this one, which is annoying, but I'm sure Sandra can tell you which season 7 she knows.
Because I have it written down. That's an honorable mention.
Defending Your Life. That just it's a strange episode, isn't it? But just seeing Sam be a lawyer for a minute, it's good.
Yeah,
and there's like
Dean angst for some reason. When you get back into Dean angst, and he's like dealing with his shit and his guilt, and it's I don't know, and you get to see Joe again, right? Like I like
that's it.
Yeah,
I like seeing Joe again, and I like that. Like maybe they had like a little bit of a conversation about what happened, and she's like, "Well, I don't blame you, but also I'm not in control here, soz."
Yeah.
You know, it's nice. It's nice. So my second honorable mention is There's No Place Like Home. Again, I didn't write seasons down for this. Sandra will tell you.
I think that's season 10, right? Because that's a Charlie episode, right? She comes back from Oz and she's split, right? Is that what that one is? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And there's Good and Evil Charlie. And I really liked it. I really like Charlie as a character. So any sort of Charlie-centric episodes I'm here for. I'm here for. So I like that one. Number 3 honorable mention is All Dogs Go to Heaven. Not because it's a good episode by any stretch of an imagination. Although the actor that plays Lucky is in quite a few things, and I think he's quite a good actor. Okay. It's just for that one scene where they've got him in the motel, and it's Soulless Sam again, because it's a season 6 episode. Do you like to play with your food? Is it a kinky thing? And he's got that really good hair going on in that scene. And it's just that one scene. I really fucking like that one scene.
Oh gosh.
And my last honorable mention, I suppose my top honorable mention, it's French Mistake. It is. I like that episode. It's weird. It's quirky. I like the boys pretending to act. Not a huge fan of Jen being in it, but you know, whatever. It's fine. I suppose it's fine. And I know as well, I'm sure it's from this episode, there's the picture of Jared riding the horse in the cowboy hat. Yeah, I'm sure it's in this episode. And as we all know, Jared owns that picture as well. So life imitates art, and it's a really fun episode. And I really enjoyed that one.
Good. Really enjoyed that one. Good picks.
Yeah. So my
number 1, I'm not even going to guess because I will be so wrong. So I'm not even going to guess.
Oh, I bet you wouldn't, though. I bet you wouldn't. My number 1 episode. I won't give this one the title of being the best episode of the whole show, but an argument could be made for it for certain. And it's the season 6 episode, The Third Man.
Oh, I know why. Now that you say it, I was thinking it was going to be in your top 10 at some point, but I know why.
Oh, did you not clue when we got to 2 and they were like, hey, she hasn't put that pornographic episode in there? I will be honest with you people. I don't even know what that episode's about. I've got a fucking clue. I just know it's Soulless Sam. And he's doing the pull-ups and he's fucking walking around in those nearly cock jeans.
It's just the first 5 minutes, right? That's all that's really necessary for that. Yeah.
So, don't have a fucking clue what the rest of the episode is about.
Cass comes back in that episode. Like Cass comes back for the first time in season 6. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, cool. Yeah, look, see, Sandra knows. I bet if there was a Dean version of this episode, she wouldn't know the plot of it.
Now, see, again, we've talked about this. I don't know why, but like, you know, there's, again, even that. I don't know what's wrong with me. But then again, like they juxtapose it with Dean having the scene with Lisa, or the daydream with Lisa, and then they cut to Sam. So again, they don't I know they don't show enough, but then they showed all of Sam and kind of then some in that. Yeah, that's a very impressive 2
It
minutes
is.
of
It
film.
is. Honestly, no idea what the rest of the fucking episode is about. I tune out. I watch the first 5 minutes and then I'm not fucking paying attention for the rest of it. But no, it's like I am a hypocrite. I am an absolute fucking fiend. It's the first 5 minutes where Soul Sam is working out, and he's got that really good season 6 hair going on in that episode as well. And he's walking around in those jeans that are like probably about a centimeter above his cock. It's just fucking great.
Yeah.
It's just everything about that is great. So, hit us up in email or on Twitter to tell me what a massive, massive, unbelievable hypocrite I am after I went off so bad on the Becky episode. But that's my number. It's season 6,
context, right?
man.
Context and what was going on in the episode. So yeah, I should have figured. I should have figured that.
I can't believe you didn't. To be fair,
I can't believe I forgot about time for I literally blanked out for time for wedding. I'm like, we've ranted about that for 20 minutes in a previous episode. So I don't know why that again. I think I was just focusing on my stuff too, so I didn't think about it. Okay. Interesting. Lots of interesting choices, Carly.
Any overlaps there?
2.
Ooh, huh. See, we go off in 2 vastly different directions when it comes to favorite episodes. I don't mind the Monster of the Week ones, and you tend not to like them. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. So I guess I was looking at. I try not to pick every Demon Dean episode. That was the thing too, because I could have probably put all three Demon Dean episodes in there. So I'm glad you mentioned Black because that wasn't one of the ones. So I'll just go with number 10.
Isn't it interesting, just before you start, Demon Dean was Demon Dean for 3 episodes, and the lasting legacy of those 3 episodes is insane.
Yeah, I don't know why I get hearing about how they had to have that 200th episode, and they could have done it and still continued the storyline. But from what I've noticed, Supernatural just does that. They kind of wrap up whatever the cliffhanger thing is. It seems like it wrapped up within the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then they kind of move on a lot of times, I think, to whatever the big bad is, or sometimes they just don't know what they're doing in seasons, and they're all over the place. But yeah,
Jensen/Dean seems to get the worst of that, because they resolved the Demon Dean thing really quickly, and then they resolved the Michael possession really quickly as well. And I remember being mad about the demon thing, being like, "Oh, what the fuck, though?" And then they did the same thing with Michael, and I was like, "Fucking really? Stop it!"
Yeah. Well, almost like with Sam, maybe they do more of what's going on with Sam, and then they delve into it a little bit more, but then they kind of don't give it the attention it deserves. Because even with season 6, the Soul of Sam thing, first we've talked about this. I had no idea what was going on with him. I'm like, what is going on? This is the weirdest thing. And it just felt off to me. And I think I've heard Jensen say he really doesn't like season 6 because Dean didn't have Sam, or maybe he just didn't have Jared, in the way that he usually has as a buddy, somebody to work off of. So it felt very weird, and they kept going with it. You know what I mean? And they kind of brought it up, then didn't, then it was fine, then he was figured out, but then he wasn't, then his mind was all, it was just a thing. Okay, I'm off tangents. Okay, so top 10
yeah
episodes.
Sorry, that was my fault.
That's okay. So number 10 is from season 10. It's Reichenbach, badass Demon Dean.
Oh yeah.
The villain monologuing that he does in that scene, all of the little bits that you start to see in Black, you get more of it there before he gets taken away to the bunker to be cured.
That's the one where he absolutely beats the unholy hell out of Cole, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
They have that. Yeah. Because he's got his murder shirt on.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I was like, the murder shirt is really, it's really, everything's kind of it's just, and he's so not Dean, you know what I mean? There's so much that's not him. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the car. He doesn't he just, it's just I don't know. There's just a lot in there. And I feel Black and the Soul Survivor one, again, Soul Survivor, I think Jensen directed, and it was a good episode, and it's got that great do it. I just think he knows how to, I think he knows how to frame himself. He just knows what he like. I guess he's like, he can't go wrong, but still like he knows how to use himself to the best advantage when he's filming. But yeah, so
I gotta say,
go ahead.
Soul Survivor could have been one of my honorable mentions as well.
Yeah.
For those scenes of him stalking Sam through the bunker with the hammer.
Yeah, I was trying to pick. Like, I think that was my thing. I'm like, I got to pick a Demon Dean one, but let me go with the one where I kind of feel like I don't know. There's just something about that one scene in particular. I like the way it's directed, the monologuing, and how much of an ass he is. And he's just beating this guy down. And it's like, this is what Dean would be like if you really didn't give a shit ever, like about anything. And and that's kind of hot. So I figured I'd pick that one.
Yeah.
And I necessarily don't like it when he has to pick on Sam, like, and you kind of know that that's something he's having to wrestle with within his, there wasn't that much of it, I guess, in that, even though towards the end there was, because he had to they were in the bar and he was kind of like, saying, oh, isn't that cute? You come back to, so there's, I just like it. I could go on, but we won't. Number 9 is from season 8. It's the season finale, Sacrifice. I really I think it's one of the better season finales. The whole angels falling, and then the whole, Dean having to come back and pull Sam back from not sacrificing himself. And, you guys, that whole, there ain't no me if there ain't no you. And, like that kind of stuff. So I just like that whole episode. I feel like it's paced really well too. Like it goes back and forth between a lot of different things, but it's almost like a roller coaster ride. Plus there's the Crowley bit. And I think this is kind of like the last time you really see Crowley in a way that then they were kind of figuring out what to do with him. And then they just didn't know what to do with him. And I feel like he kind of became this, I don't know, he kind of really became more of a caricature of himself than he was in the beginning. And I liked all of that. I thought it really worked. So that was my number 9. Number 8 is from season 9, and it's Bad Boys. It's the backstory on Dean when he spent time at that reform home for boys.
Yeah.
It's just so sweet and sad. And, you get more of, I mean, I just talked about the episode Sacrifice, but like how much Dean will had sacrificed, for his brother, like all the things that he gave up that would have probably made him happy, and he could have lived this quiet little life. And, he didn't for Sam. And I also like it because at the end you see that recognition from Sam that he kind of gets it. He's like, I appreciate, it's just one line, but it's like, I appreciate what you did, Dean. And I feel like that's the season where you don't get that a lot from Sam and Dean, because they do that riff again where it's like, he had the angel possess Sam to heal him, and then he finds out, and then he kills Kevin. He doesn't kill Kevin, but the angel inhabiting him kills Kevin. It's all this like drama back and forth, and it's kind of weird that it's like stuck in that season because I feel like it doesn't fit, but it's nice to see that one little glimpse of Sam, being like, thank you, Dean, not that he doesn't say thank you a lot, but it felt like an actual verbalization. And, Dean, of course, brushes it off, but it's just a sweet episode too. I just like, and I love the actor that played teenage Dean. I thought he did a really good job. I feel like he studied Jensen, playing Dean, and picked up some of the little ticks and things that he does, and even like the little scoffs and the huffs and the things. I was like, oh, I'm like, he's really trying, and he did a sweet job. Number 7 is also from season 9, and it's Firstborn. It's where we first meet Kane, and Dean gets the mark. And just proves again, like those little badass scenes. He just, he's in the kitchen, just taking care of all the demons. And I like the Dean Crowley dynamic in that. And we also get Sam and Castiel really just like by themselves for the first time in that episode. And you really get to see how different their relationship is contrasted to Dean and Castiel, but how very sweet it is. And I mean, I always think about the behind the scenes stuff and go like, how much drama was Jared giving Misha, but yet they're able to come together and make a really great scene based off of the characters. And it's
Yeah.
sweet. It's sweet to see that brother dynamic, and they hug and, all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I really like Kane. I mean, you only see him in 2 episodes, but I liked that. And I liked,
But boy, does he make you feel some kind of fucking way.
yeah,
Especially Tim, the actor. Damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He
he's
does
up there.
a great job. Yeah.
He's up there with Jeff on the list of men who might make me use that word that I really don't like. But fucking damn, Tim. Did you rein all that sexy in, please? Jesus. Damn. Especially the second time you see him when he's grown his hair out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course. I mean,
of
you're
course.
talking about Carly, of course. Got to have that long hair.
Of course. Always with the happy.
So number 6 is from season 7, and it's the girl with the Dungeons and Dragons tattoo. It's her introduction to Charlie. I kind of like the direction. I know they were going off of, I think, the movie. I've never seen the movie, but I get the feeling that that's what was happening in the movie. I just like the plot, too, overall in the episode. It feels very heisty. I like her introduction. I love her as a character, and she kind of had to grow on me too. It's like I didn't like immediately like, oh, this is a great thing, but like by the second time you see her, I really did like her a lot. And she's just quirky, she's cute, she's funny, and I do like the dynamic she immediately has with Sam and Dean, especially Dean. And they do that whole bit where he's talking her through flirting with a guy, and again, it's just like there's so many layers and things that people can pull out of that, but it's just sweet. I like that. And there's just a lot to that I really liked. And I love the whole like walking on sunshine, music montage and stuff. And she's dancing in the elevator. So yeah, good character, good introduction.
Yep.
Number 5 is from season 8, and it's LARP and the Real Girl. Again, Charlie. It's I think the second time. I like the whole Renaissance Fair thing. I think the vibe was fun. I think it was needed. Again, like sometimes they do this really great thing of packing episodes in between a lot of heavy stuff. Plus Dean plays dress up. My God. I mean, he can be my handmaiden any day. I just love him in that chainmail and all that stuff. There's just something about that episode. I'm just like, yes, please. I want all of that and more. Number 4 is from season 7. It's Death's Door. We had it at the same number 4, where Bobby dies. I think that's one of the most emotional episodes for me. Every time I watch it, it hits me harder every time. Learning so much about Bobby, how much he loved and was proud of the boys, and how it comes out. His backstory, I know you get a little bit more, you learn more about him with his wife, I think earlier on, like maybe season 4. And again, I think it's season 5, but everything with his family, God, the symmetry of how it's a lot like he killed his dad. You know what I mean? Like, and then he's dying the same way. And at the very end, his most cherished memory is some of the most mundane thing to do is just to watch really bad movies with Sam and Dean. And that's the one thing he wants to hold on to. And again, he's still sacrificing, like he's still making a decision to stay behind to try to get the information to the boys to help them through, whatever's going on, rather than just going where he should go. And that has, as we find out, it has massive ramifications for him for like a few seasons. Like he doesn't really get to where he needs to go, at least for like another year. And then even then you find out, he was probably tortured, and, things were done that didn't need to be done because of the boys, and because he cares about them so much. He's just such an awesome character. He's just such a great character. And it was another one, even though I think it's a great episode, the boys lost so much that season. And just to have them lose Bobby on top of everything else was just really, really hard and heartbreaking to see. Number 3 is from season 6. It's Weekend at Bobby's. So I guess going from the very heart-wrenching to getting to see what it's like for Bobby. And this goes against my normally not liking when the boys are the B plot, but this is like a rare exception because the character of Bobby I love so much, and giving him spotlight and seeing how useful he is to the hunters, how much he's relied on, not just for the boys, but for everyone else. I also really like Rufus, and I'm glad that they gave us some Rufus banter and you see more about their friendship. I like that. I love that actor, like from my loving Johnny Depp 21 Jump Street days, because he was like the captain on 21 Jump Street. So Stephen Williams is like, I always love it when I see him. So I was just seeing him with Bobby was just great. So number
it's got the
two,
really amazing Kenny Rogers song, The Gambler, as well,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
I love.
Mhm.
I love that.
And
I
it's
love
a
that
Jensen directed episode, and it's a really good episode, and I think his first time directing, and I think he did a really great job with it, and so there's a lot of good things about that.
Absolutely.
Number 2 is The French Mistake.
Woo!
Very, very meta, very, very everything. I mean, I just think there's I don't know. I love everything about that episode. And there's so many fun little bits. My favorite thing is when they don't know how to act, and you're just like trying to figure out, wait, it's Dean. Wait a minute, it's Jensen playing Dean, playing Jensen. Like, it's just all these, like, how you have to like disconnect, how you're talking about how he has to make himself not be a great singer or whatever. It's really hard to make yourself look like a bad actor when you can act really well. And they both do a really good job of that. Jared not knowing what to do with his hands and all that fun stuff. It's just, it's just fun. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. I mean, I have a ton of honorable mentions, and I broke them down by season before I get to number 1.
Oh, look, here she goes again, people.
Yeah.
I bet she's got a fucking table over there. God damn it.
So
if there is any kind of Google Doc table, we will put it in the description for your amusement.
Is there a table, Sandra? 6. It's not a table, but there's columns. There's not a table. So season 6. People. Live Free and Try Hard. It's the vampire episode where Dean gets turned into a vampire. I know you do, but I liked the way that they kind of spun it and made fun of it. And I also like how much they were still making me try to figure out what the hell was going on with Sam. There's that one scene where he's got that look on his face as Dean's being turned. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. At the end of the alley, just like, maybe though.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think it's too because there's also that Dean is such a badass where you don't actually see it, but you see the carnage after that. He's taking care of all these vamps on his own, and it's that kind of thing. I liked that. Clap Your Hands If You Believe was another one. The one you hate, My Heart Will Go On.
Is it for the teacups?
It's the teacups, but My Heart Will Go On is also an honorable mention for me.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I know you don't like it. But I do. And I think it's because I have I have a soft spot for Titanic. So for me, it's like, that was a thing. And Dean makes the reference about Titanic and Kate Winslet's boobs, and I can't help it. It makes me chuckle. And
fair enough. She's a very beautiful lady. She's beautiful then. She's beautiful now.
And
that red dress, though. I have seen Titanic. I don't hate Titanic as in that episode.
Yeah, I know. But for me, it's just a thing. And then Frontierland, just because Dean gets to go do the Wild West thing. So that was an honorable mention.
The shots of whiskey.
All that. And then season 7, I've got Defending Your Life, slash fiction, where there's the doppelgangers pretending to be Sam.
I see. That nearly made it into my top 10. Mm-hmm. I can't believe I forgot to put that on my honorable mentions.
It was in there for a while. Yeah.
Watching Jared and Jensen play, not that Sam and Dean aren't badass, but like, don't give a fuck. Badass Sam and Dean
just killing.
The conversation at the bar where like Dean Leviathan's like, deep down he really believes this cheeseburger is better than sex. That's a really great episode. That would have been one of my honorable mentions too. I can't believe I forgot.
Yeah. And then Time After Time, where again he goes back and it's the 1940s. That
would have been one as well. Jesus Christ. I tried to limit myself and you're all like, nope, all of them though.
Well, no, I figured honorable mention, I'm going to put them in there. And then season 8, as time goes by, when Henry Winchester gets pulled forward, I really like that. I like the getting to know the granddad a little bit, and kind of how they pepper in some more of the backstory and stuff. Everybody hates Hitler just because of the bunker, and also the classic. You see the bunker for the first time, but then the classic scene with Dean and the dude, and Dean's very confused and thinks he's getting hit on, and it's just so classic and just so perfect. It's just beautiful. And then Goodbye Stranger, the one where Castiel has been programmed to kill Dean, but then can't because Dean's like kneeling in front of Castiel. But it's also that beginning scene where you just see all of the Deans, like the dead Deans that he's had to go through again and again. And you're just like thinking, he's had to do this so many times.
Yeah. Do you know, I love that episode, but I don't love that episode for the episode. I love that episode for the bloopers.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
Stop pulling my face towards your crotch.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it. Yeah. You're my baby daddy, like, or whatever he goes into. Yeah, it's
I need a popsicle. Yeah, for the bloopers, definitely.
And then season 9, yes, I have Rockin' Hard Place. I have the season opener. I think I'm gonna like it here. Devil May Care, Dog Dean Afternoon, Blade Runner, just because the hottest suit I've ever seen Dean Winchester wear. And then God, I have Stairway to Heaven, and now I can't remember why. Oh, okay. So Stairway to Heaven, I think it's more badass Dean. Oh, and it's Tessa the Reaper. Like she kills herself, and it's this whole like, he's got a couple scenes with some angels where he's just like, he's owning the situation. And he's got a line. I can't remember what it is now, but it's classic Dean, and he's just such a badass, and I love it. Honorable mention for season 10, the Executioner song, because it's when Kane comes back, and The Prisoner, which is the episode right after Charlie dies, just because again, Dean could have been a badass without that happening, but I love seeing him as Dean as a badass. And he's got that one. It's about the Steins and all their extra body parts. And he makes a comment to the dude, with your 7 nipples for the ladies or the guys. I don't judge.
Yeah.
It's just so great. Okay. So my number 1.
See, that family would have been an interesting family to pursue.
Yeah,
I think
I thought
that would have been cool.
I think they could have. I mean, I don't know if I would have maybe liked some different actors. Maybe I thought they could have done like the acting. Maybe could have been a little bit better. But it was an interesting plot line that I think they could have done. So my number 1, Carly.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's fan fiction.
Oh, son of a gun!
For all the reasons you didn't like it, I liked it. And I don't know, like I watch it, every time I watch it again, I like it more. And I find it, I'm usually very secondhand embarrassment. We've talked about this. I never felt that with this episode, because I felt that the kids were doing such a sweet job with it too. Like the girls were just doing, and yeah, they do the Wincest, but then they also do the Destiel, and they have the Destiel stuff, and the producer, the girl. I loved all of it, every bit of it, and there's so many callbacks, and I did feel like I felt like this was their way of doing a musical episode without having the boys do anything revolving that.
They didn't need a musical episode, Sandra.
I know
they didn't need a musical fucking episode. So many good TV shows out there got through it without doing a fucking musical.
But I liked it. I can't help it. I really did. I loved the songs. I really did. I thought the songs were the cutest. And I know you're sick of the Wayward Carry On Wayward Son. I really loved that they did that at the end of it.
But the girl that sung that though, the girl that sung that in that episode fucking nailed it. That was absolutely on point.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I can't say there's any other reason, for that being my top for, this group, except it's one of the lighter episodes, but yet there's still they're still hitting on things in certain ways. And I guess it's a little more self-reflection. Like, initially Dean's very much like, oh, what the hell are you guys doing? I think it's cute that Sam's very into it too. Like his little theater kid in him comes out. And yeah, it's just, I liked it. I loved it. It's just, I mean, that's all I wrote in my note. Love it. Like, just love it. There's nothing I could say that I really don't like about that episode.
I'm trying to decide now if this is better or worse than Mystery Spot.
I think you were upset because like what Sam was going through, and I was basically like, but it's funny though. So again, maybe it's just because it's hitting me on a very like, it hits me on a basic level and gives me all the feels that normally with Supernatural, they can be very, see, and I don't see the heavy part as much as you do with Mystery Spot. And I guess this one's I'm focusing on just the overall letter, to the fans, I don't know. I like it. No other show could do that, really. The other shows have done musicals. No other shows could do a musical like that that's so meta that I think for me it works. So that's, again.
No, that is true. The whole Supernatural books being canon in the Supernatural TV show was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, no other show could have done that. But I would argue no other show would want to, because it shouldn't have been done in the first place.
That's fair.
I can't. Do you know, listeners, we don't usually talk about what we're going to title our episodes. Sandra does that, like everything fucking else that she does. Woman is a legend. But when we were talking about this before we started recording it, we were like, we were going to call, I wonder if we'll be able to call it like My Bottom is Your Top Part 2. Turns out, yes, in fact, we will.
But
because
you did not make, you didn't make fan fiction. Was that your worst one? That wasn't your worst one.
No, it was number 3.
Okay. But we could probably get away with
way
it.
Up there.
We could go really again.
Well, Mystery Spot was my number 10 worst episode in the first lot, and then it was your number 1. So we're going with it. That's what we're going to call the episode. But we were like, I wonder if it will happen again.
Yeah.
And So now here we'll wonder live, will that happen again for the third part of this series?
Can't even imagine. Oh my God. No, you know what? I have a feeling I'm going to say no. I think that's going to break. I think that's going to break it. I think we will agree what our worst episode will be. And I have a feeling, I'm hoping, I'm crossing fingers, I think our top episode might, if it's not exact, I think it might be up there. I think. We'll have to decide if we count the episode that does not exist. I think we might have to, just because it's there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know in our, like, the way we're reframing things, it's not, but it does exist, like in the actual, like, reality. Yeah. So we might have to. If we took that out, then everything's fair game. So I guess we have to make that discussion. But
we'll come back to that, because part 3 won't be out for a little while yet, guys. So me and Sandra will come, and we'll let you know, of course, if we count that episode or not.
Yeah. So I mean, interesting. I had fun doing this. This was another reflection of.
Do you know what? I'm sitting here with the exact same look on my face that I had the first time we did this, when I was like, fucking Mystery Spot. And I'm just sat here now going, fucking fan fiction. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I tried. I really did. I did. But I could not pick that one. So, and again, like I was trying to figure out, like, how am I going with this? Because again, like when you were like mentioning, I'm like, yep, I would have done that. Yep, I would have picked that one. But I was like, okay, let me see if I can. Yeah, this was tough. I had a lot of favorites from season 9, I think, and weirdly season 7. Like I had a lot of more that I liked than didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Season 6, and I feel like season 10 and season 8 were maybe half and half, But when I was making my lists, I was like, oh, I really did like a lot of episodes from season 7 and season 9, even if they were kind of disjointed or what was happening plot line, maybe I didn't like.
Yeah.
I like
when I was writing my list, and I realized that nothing from season 8 made it in to the top 10, and I was like, the hair was on point. Plot lines were not. The whole plot lines. I would like to bring sort of like an honorable bad mention to the entire Benny plot line as well. Because I didn't like the plot line. I love the character of Benny and I love Ty Olsson, but it didn't make sense to me why Sam was so fucking narky about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't make sense to me why Dean was hiding things from him. And I was like, Sam's let monsters live before. Like, what is your fucking deal now? You didn't look for him.
Yeah.
You didn't look. So I don't feel like, well, you were hamming it up with Miss fucking Vet and the dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get to bitch about what he was doing.
Yeah.
So the whole plot line was just a bit off for me.
It was very soap opera and very but they do that a lot in Supernatural. But this one felt like almost like making them a romantic couple and like Dean cheating. You know what I mean? Like Dean cheating on Sam with Benny. But then you can make the argument that, Dean was feeling the same way about Sam cheating on him with Amelia. So I think they were trying to parallel that a lot. And I mean, I thought it was an odd choice not to have Sam look for Dean at all. Yeah.
But then I do realize they were paralleling season 6 where Dean didn't look for Sam.
Yeah.
Or try and get him out the pit or anything. And I realize it's a parallel. But then I'm like, like the different characters, maybe have them make different choices.
Yeah.
But
I feel like in season 6, there was mention and references that Dean was still trying to figure out, like what he could do. But then everybody was keeping it a secret. You know what I mean? Like from him, like even Bobby knew that Sam had come back earlier and they were all like, well, we just wanted you to get on with your life. He's like, but I was still trying to want to figure out a way to bring you back. Like, even though I was resigned to what you wanted, it didn't mean I wasn't trying. Like, I still feel like he was trying. Like, I feel like he was trying to figure stuff out. Like, do I really want to try to bring him back? How do I do it? Again, was he making that decision because Sam told him to? Where, yes, Dean has told Sam he wants him, to get on with his life. But I feel like Sam very easily, I don't know. And maybe, again, it could be the way they write Sam. They don't make him always as sympathetic as they do Dean. And I think that's a disservice to the character. But we've been talking about that too a lot. I think Sam likes to run away a lot more sometimes. And Amelia was just the easiest way to do that. And it was, he could have done something else entirely. So yeah, I didn't get she's just not, there was more chemistry between Dean and Benny. There was between Sam and Amelia, you know what I mean? And even like, however you want to take it, the chemistry was there and they were there for each other. Where Amelia, I don't know, too flippy floppy, too not knowing what she wanted. And it was just a mess. It was just a mess.
It really was. And then when you look at Dean's actions, like the letting Gadriel possess Sam's body to heal him after the angels fell, after the trials and everything, stopping the whole trials when he realized that it was going to kill Sam and everything. And you think those actions don't marry up with the man that didn't look, that didn't try. So I wish they'd just picked a lane. If they'd been consistent, I wouldn't have half as many problems. But it was back and forth all the freaking time. And I just couldn't, and it was weird that, like, Sam didn't look for Dean when Dean was in purgatory, but he did look for Dean when Dean was in hell. Yeah.
Because did that have more to do with Sam's feeling he had to save? You know what I mean? Like what his role was, like that kind of thing. And when it was just
that might have been
done,
the guilt.
Yeah.
Dean sold his soul for Sam, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Sam thought, oh, he's got Cass there, it'll probably be fine, not knowing that Castiel was going to go bug fuck nuts and just vanish. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like Sam he probably was, but again, like it was how Sam abandoned everybody, including Kevin. Like that, I think made it even
Yeah.
worse.
It was
like
weird.
Yeah. They did.
It was a weird choice.
Yeah. And I think that was a new showrunner too. I think that might have been, I think Jeremy Carver at that point, I think had started to take over. And again, like I liked a lot of what Jeremy Carver wrote, like some of the episodes, you know, in the beginning of the season, the series. And same thing with Sarah Gamble. Like they're really good writers, but showrunner wise, I'm kind of like, you guys don't know what you're doing. Sometimes like you got to figure it out. Like you said, pick a lane. But again, we've got 15 years of people trying different things out and seeing what sticks and what doesn't. And I guess at some point you gotta be like, well, let's see what happens if we do this, and let's put the boys in this situation. But yeah, some of it's just not genuine. Some of it just doesn't ring true for them. So.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd kept the boys in a lane, as it were, and every time they made the same decisions, the show would have got boring really fucking quickly. There'd been nothing.
Yeah,
you'd have known what was going to happen. So, like, I can't argue with it from that point. I'm just like, I don't know. Some of the choices you made no fucking sense.
Yeah, the problem is when they make the same mistakes over and over again. Like we've talked about, like the secrets, like that. That's what like gets me soap opera. And I'm just like, don't do this again. Don't. No. You guys are supposed to be able to talk to each other at this point, you know. So yeah, it's that too. But yeah. we could go off and discuss this forever.
That's it. It's supernatural. We need therapy, yo. Go with the tagline of the whole show. But we will wrap it up here. There won't be a canon fodder section in this podcast because this took a really long time, y'all.
Yeah,
and we're very aware. After we had to split an episode into two, that we're kind of trying to rein it in a little bit. So we're not gonna put a canon fodder in this, but Sandra is currently in the process of uploading her reading of her own work past you. So if you need Sandra reading fix, if you need that in your life, which of course everybody does because she's awesome at it, why would you not want that in your life? You can check out that playlist or section of the podcast, wherever you consume this media.
Yeah. And hopefully, I don't know, I mean, we're trying to figure out when we're going to have this released and aired. So it might still be a thing that I'm doing, or we might be moving on to one of Carly's works. So they have so many great pieces. I've told them, need to figure out, I want to read a Dean one. We got to read a Dean one soon.
He wants to read a Dean one, which is, I don't have any really long Dean ones, I'm afraid.
Okay. That's okay.
So
we could do a compilation.
Please, Mal, please. I would like to read your Dean stuff. Hey, you know what? If I finish It's a Quarter After One at any point this century, you can read that because it's sitting, like chapter 1's done, but chapter 2 is sitting in 2 separate parts on my Google Drive because I couldn't figure out where to go with it. So I'd saved some stuff that I'd sort of cut from the first chapter. Like it wasn't going the direction I wanted it to, but it was good writing. So I was like, okay, I'll save that. So I started working from there with what I wanted to happen.
Gotcha.
And then sort of going back to the beginning and filling in. So it's in 2 parts at the moment. And I will try and get it finished this century.
Okay. Well, that sounds lovely. So, I can't wait, Carly.
Yeah. That can be the next one if you actually, you know what you could read? You could read your birthday one.
Oh, I was thinking, yeah, maybe the onesie. The onesie might need to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have to do that. Yeah. We'll see.
Cool. So maybe we'll still be, when this goes out, maybe we'll still be uploading Sandra's past due work, which is, by the way, phenomenal. I can't speak today. Phenomenal. And you should absolutely go and read it. And I remember commenting at the time on the work going, your ability to pull plot threads together is fucking insane. Like, woman, please. Like, stop that, but also, Jesus Christ, don't. She's the fucking mistress of plot twists. I swear to God. Go read it, listen to it, consume it in some way because it's amazing.
I pulled my hair out, but it was fun in the process. It's one of those many random, I'm in the shower, I'm just randomly trying to figure out what's going on with this episode or this show or this thing. And then I'm like, oh, this is what I can do. Don't forget. Don't forget. or in the middle of the night, wake up and like, that's what I need to do. That's what's going to work. Yes, but
I can't say I wake up in the middle of the night with thick ideas, but
no, you probably stay up late though. With
I do stay up late. Yeah.
Stay up late. I do that too. I've been working on one now, and I'm trying to get myself to bed at a decent time. So we'll see if that happens. But okay, we're gonna wrap this up. I'm really hoping that it, just in case, we're hoping that at this point, by the time this airs, we won't have to put in a link for what's happening in Ukraine right now. But if there is still the need to support people affected by the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, we will have links in the description below. Carly and I are going to pick a couple different charities that if you would like to support, do the thing, it'll be there.
Absolutely, 100%. So I suppose we should probably do the sign off. Do you want to do the
I'll do the sign off as to where you can find us, reach out to us. If you'd like to shoot us an email, you can reach us at idlingintheimpala@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are idling in the letter D Impala. If you'd like to reach out to me, my Twitter handle is skylewrites. That's SKYLEWRITES. On AO3, you can find my fan fiction under Drasna. That's DRASNA. And if you would like to find out more of my original fan fiction, that does not go together. My original fiction, you can reach me at sandrakyle.com on my website.
But yeah, that's all the things. She's so organized. She has tables and columns and notes and things. And then she's all over the place with her online handles. I am not. She's the organized one. I am the agent of chaos in all things apart from this one. So if you want to reach out to me, I am on AO3 under the username Kali Karma. I make this joke every single time. I don't even know if it's a joke anymore. I think it's just part of my closing speech. Yeah. However you think Kali is spelled, it probably isn't. So it's K for Kilo, A for Alpha, R for Romeo, L for Lima, E for Echo, Karma as you would spell it normally. So that's on AO3. I'm exactly the same on Twitter, Kali Karma. It's the same profile picture in both places as well, in case you think, hey, I wonder if I found two Kalis with a weird spelling name. Same profile picture, probably me. So, reach out to us. Again, tell us what your top and bottom of season 6 to 10 would be. Let us know. Are you with me and team fanfiction was a terrible episode? Or are you team Sandra and been like, no, fanfiction was the best? Let us know. Reach out. Drop us a line on Twitter. Drop us an email. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yes. Thank you all. And thanks for sticking with us. And we will, hopefully, you get to hear us soon. So take care.
Yep. Take care, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.
If 3 different types of pie can't tear him away from the television, nothing will. God, I hope the movie's done by now.
All I know is I am deserving of some hair care tonight.
By hair care, you mean running your fingers all through Sam's?
Absolutely.
Well, baby's back safe and sound, and we've got some boys to see.
Thanks for coming along for the ride. Who knows? Maybe next time we'll give you the keys to take her for a spin.
Where's the pie?
Look at these chemicals. Do you even read the label?
No, I read pie. The rest is just blah, blah, blah.